Okay, so I had an idea that I would just start by giving you guys a tour. I don't think I've given you an official tour. So I'm actually up in the cab right now. I'm not going to show you climbing in because that takes me too long. But here we go. This is the driver's side, and I want to show you what the steps look like. There's 2 steps. And there is right here there's a handle. So the rule that they have is, this is a DOT rule, you must use 3 points of contact at all times. So if you have 2 feet on the steps and 1 hand here, then you basically, then you have to put down another hand, which I usually use this right here, and I'll put a hand and move the foot, and then I'll come up here and use the steering wheel or the edge of the seat right here to help me get in. Alright, so then you get in, and we've got this huge steering wheel, and the steering wheel is, I don't know, it's really large. It does adjust. It'll go up and down this way and up and down that way. And we've got all the gauges. Here's our speedometer. This is the oil pressure. This is what they call, this is our fuel and DEF, which I'll go into DEF later. And then here, RPM, or your tachometer. The water temperature. There's a readout that gives you things like the voltage, the miles per gallon, and stuff like that. And it tells us that the truck is in neutral right now. You see that? Truck is in neutral, and the brake is set. Okay. I do have it on because otherwise it gets too hot in here. So, and then these gauges are for air pressure. They basically, the brakes and a lot of the truck operates on air. So there's compressors built into the engine, and every time, like for instance, if I just step on the brake right now, you would probably see some movement in the gauges because it uses up that air pressure, and then you can hear the compressor kick on, and it makes more air. I could go more into it, but I'm sure you guys, this is how you set the brakes. This is the red is trailer brakes, and when they're out, the brake is set. These are out. I'm not going to push them in because I don't want to roll. Then of course there's a radio with the little section. This is where we keep cigarettes or vape or whatever, whoever's driving. And there's of course some drink holders. Behind the drink holders are all these gauges, all these little buttons, which I still haven't figured them all out. These are my 4 ways. This is for a light for the foot area, which I'll show you. And then these are a bunch of other, I don't know what those are. I have no idea what those are at all. And these are like, oh, there's a mirror heat one. Okay. Anyways, then we have air conditioning and all that right here. And there are 2 outlets for charging stuff, and this one is like overwhelmed with shit. Now here we have what we call the driver tech. It shows, it goes into it, and I can do hours, show my hours of service. Like today I can drive 4 hours and 51 minutes based on my 70-hour clock. That's why we're sitting here, because it's not a lot of time. It also shows you it in a graph. It's all sorts of, and then you can go into it and see messages. They send messages back and forth from the office to us. And then when you're in a trip, which I'm not in a trip right now, there is navigation. So it'll navigate us to where we want to go. But this navigation is obviously not the best. as you see, I'm currently in Smithton, Pennsylvania on Racetrack Road. We're actually at a Flying J with the Denny's. Steven is currently in the Denny's eating. Steven has a $500 Rand McNally GPS for truckers, and it's important to get a trucker's GPS because it'll tell you the roads that are approved for truckers versus what Waze and Google will show you. So that's pretty much a must. The other option is to get a Rand McNally trucker's map, which I had showed you at one time. It's huge and you can use it, but this is probably going to be easier, and I'm probably going to get that eventually. This is the floor. We have some things on the floor. Steven has his flip-flops and a towel because it was raining and muddy. That's the passenger seat, and there's a handle over there for getting in on the passenger side. That little thing right there, this right here, that's a tool for, which I'll tell you about more. Also, this is a tool, and this is called an Easy Pass. It's for way stations and toll roads. Basically, if we have a toll road, which you have them all the time in Pennsylvania, then you don't have to pay. The company pays that. They pay a monthly fee to keep it. This piece of equipment right here, right there, okay, this is a camera. It is an outward facing, it says right here, the inward facing is deactivated, but it has an outward facing camera. It's called an event recorder, and basically what it does, if it detects an event like a bump or an accident or certain things, it'll record 8 seconds, and it does that. Basically, it's turned into more of a protection for truck drivers than anything. It helps with, when there's an accident or when something happens, then you have a video record of it. That thing that's over there in that window, this right here, that's I think that's part of the system that basically this thing has all sorts of bells and whistles in it. When I set the cruise control, it'll keep that speed, and it uses the radar that's installed on the front, which I think that this is part of the radar system. There's a radar installed on the front to tell me what my following distance is. Right here, this tells, it's not going to tell me anything right now because, see, there's nobody in front of me right now. But if you're traveling, and let's say I'm going 55, it'll show that I'm going 55, and it'll show that there's a car in front of me going 62. If it was going 50 and I come up on it, then it beeps when I get too close, and that tells me to either slow down or go around. So there's a lot of safety precautions built in. This one also helps with if you're lagging out of your lane. It'll do this clicking, like if I'm like drifting over my lane, it'll do this clicking noise to to let me know that I need to get back on track. There's another thing here. This is for the kingpin. Basically, this goes to the big huge piece that in the back of the truck that hooks onto the trailer. Alright, so now as we move, knocked over his drink. Okay, so as we move further back, without getting up, I'm gonna just kind of turn and give you a view. There are curtains here, so if we are sleeping during the day, we can close the curtains. Plus, it just looks a lot nicer. There's there is what do you call air control. Like basically, you can run air conditioner or heat back there, and if you have the curtain up, it keeps them separate. I found that out the other day because I opened up this curtain and it was freezing back there. Oh, up here, when you stand up, there's all sorts of storage up here too. There's storage there. He's got his CB there. This is what he uses for medicine cabinet. That's for sunglasses, but it has my drinks in it, and then that's for his sunglasses. Plus there's little places up here that he uses. I don't know, it's his truck, so I don't know. This is where he keeps books, and I don't know what else. You can keep other books up there too. That's what it looks like from my view. Alright, so I turn around, face the curtains, open the curtains, and you see the bunks. Now, the bottom one is my bunk, obviously, and it goes the entire width of the truck, so I don't need it all. So I keep my bags at the foot and my stuff at the head. And then he has a bunk. He was nice enough to let me have the bottom because there's no ladder. This is the way you got to climb. There's a little step here, and there's a step here, and I don't know how a fat person like me is supposed to get up there. Plus I have a bad knee. Now in his particular case, he has a mini fridge right here that takes up over half of the floor space. Now if you got a smaller one, you could put it right here, which is where he has like paper towels and dishes which need to be washed, and just junk. And now here, hang on one second, here he has a microwave, and then there's a space over here too to put stuff in. Now above the microwave there is a cabinet where that's my food stuff, and then over here on the other side, this is a closet area. It's got his clothes in it, obviously, and then down below this spot there's a drawer. Actually, I guess it's meant to be a table, and another cabinet area. I don't know what's down there because this is, oh, he's got more food down there. Okay. So, and also these bunks bend up and stow away. So underneath we have 2 cases of water, and I don't know what else he's got in there. There's little windows on the side where you can see, you can open the window and get some air if you want. I prefer to use this air right here. Keep that on, it blows out right there, right on me. I'm a happy camper, okay? These are all the lights. This is like my foot. This is the dome in the back, which is up above his bunk. There is the footwell, the part that I was showing you where you stand. You can keep a light on there. And then there's a regular dome and this lamp here that's up above my head. That's pretty much, let me show you. When you close the curtain, turn off the light. Yeah, it's pretty dark. My ass can sleep even in the daytime, and it's cool. So I'm not complaining about that. Those are really heavy curtains. I don't know what they're made of, but they're heavy. So that's about it for the inside. You kind of just have to try to make use of your space. Like, see, for instance, on his closet door, he's got a hook, and he hangs jackets there, but you know, my ass can't reach. So my jacket is right here, and for some of the shippers that we go to, you have to have the reflective vest, so I have that right there ready to grab in case we have to get out and go. So there is a we do have some electricity, obviously. Comes from what they call a power inverter. Down here at the bottom, that's our power inverter. Don't ask me what it does, I just know that that's how we get electricity. Something from the truck, I guess. So a lot of times what we do during the day is we just go ahead and tuck these curtains back behind the seats. gives you a little more room. And then if you want to sit back here, you can kind of get a view of things out the front. You're really not supposed to sit back here while the truck's going though, so just during the day. But this is 15 minutes and it's pretty much the inside of the cab, so I will upload this next time I can get some Wi-Fi, and y'all post any questions that you have. Love you so much. Bye bye.